Stop. Put down the spatula and back away from the stove. Your kitchen is not the heart of the home. It's a high-stakes laboratory of accidental death that's been trying to take you out for centuries. You think you're safe because you switched to organic kale and BPA-free plastic? Wrong. You are currently surrounded by devices that were literally designed using the same technology as nuclear weapons, Victorian torture devices, and forever chemicals that are building a permanent nest in your bloodstream as we speak. In this video, we are counting down the top 10 craziest cooking devices in history that can actually kill you, and 3 of them are still in your kitchen right now. Stay tuned for number 4, because it's a health tool everyone swears by, but it's actually releasing a toxic gas that can drop a pet bird dead in 30 seconds. And you cannot miss number 1. It's not a fancy machine or an ancient relic. It's a silent $20 plastic blade sitting in your drawer right now that ER doctors call the finger eater, and I'm going to show you exactly why you've been using it all wrong. We're talking about miracle water that makes your jaw fall off, toasters that double as electric chairs, and the hidden reason why your grandma's favorite pretty plates are actually poisoning your Sunday brunch. If you like living, you might want to watch this to the end. Let's dive into the history of crazy housewares. Let's start with number 10. The Victorian lead-glazed deathware. Back in the 1800s, everyone wanted that expensive shine on their dinner plates. The secret ingredient? Lead. Lots of it. It made ceramics look gorgeous, but it had a nasty habit of leaking into anything acidic, like that tomato soup or vinegar-heavy salad. You weren't just eating dinner, you were microdosing a neurotoxin. Lead poisoning doesn't kill you fast. It robs you of your mind, your joints, and eventually your life. Here's the secret they don't want you to know. Vintage doesn't mean safe. If you're a fan of grandma core and you're eating off 1950s floral plates or brightly colored Fiesta ware from the early days, you are likely eating lead and uranium for breakfast. Go get a lid test kit before your next meal. You can thank me later. Here comes number 9, the Revigator, the radon water jar. Before there were energy drinks, there was radiation. In the 1920s, radioactivity was the ultimate health craze. People thought it was the fountain of youth. Let's talk about the Revigator. It was a water crock lined with radioactive radium ore. The instructions? Fill it with water at night, let it sit so the radon gas could dissolve into the water, and drink 6 glasses a day for vigor. It didn't give you vigor, it gave you bone cancer. It literally caused people's bones to become brittle and shatter. The scary part? Thousands of these were sold. They are still sitting in antique shops and basements today. If you see a heavy ceramic jar that smells slightly like metallic ozone, do not touch it. It is still radioactive, and it will be for the next 1,600 years. Moving to number 8, the early electric toasters. When electricity first hit kitchens, safety was an afterthought. Early toasters didn't have a pop-up mechanism, they were just open heating elements, glowing red wires of death. There was no insulation. If you touched the outer metal casing while your other hand was on a damp counter or a metal sink, you completed the circuit. You didn't just toast the bread, you became the bread. Because these used exposed nichrome wires, people would often use metal forks to fish out their toast. In a world before GFY outlets, those little reset buttons on your wall, that was a one-way ticket to cardiac arrest. Number 7, the kitchen grenade. Legacy pressure cookers. If your mom ever told you to stay out of the kitchen while the pressure cooker was hissing, she wasn't being dramatic. She was surviving. Older pressure cookers lacked the 5 or 6 redundant safety valves we have today. If the jiggler on top got clogged by a single piece of bean skin or a stray bit of foam, the pressure would build until the metal literally reached its failure point. We're talking about a heavy metal lid being launched through the ceiling like a rocket, followed by a tidal wave of 250 degrees Fahrenheit scalding liquid. There are literal scars in the ceilings of old houses today that mark where a beef stew once went supersonic. Here is number 6, the asbestos oven mitts and mats. For decades, asbestos was the miracle mineral. It didn't burn, so we put it everywhere. It was in the mats you put under your hot pots, and it was woven into the fireproof oven mitts your grandma used. As those mitts aged and frayed, they released microscopic fibers into the air. You were literally seasoning your casserole with lung cancer. Think it's gone? check your old toaster. Many vintage toasters from the 50s and 60s used asbestos sheets as internal insulation. Every time the toast popped up, it sent a little puff of death fibers into your face. We've covered the past, but the next 5 items are currently in the danger zone. Especially number 4. It's the silent killer in your cabinet that you probably use every morning. We are talking about number 5, the turkey fryer, the Thanksgiving flamethrower. This is the only kitchen appliance that has its own dedicated safety reel released by the fire department every year. It's a simple physics mistake. If the turkey is even slightly frozen, the ice hits the hot oil, turns to steam instantly, and expands by 1,600 times. This creates an oil geyser that hits the open propane flame below. More than 1,000 homes are destroyed every year by this one specific device. It turns a fun dinner into a homelessness situation in approximately 1.4 seconds. Number 4. The Teflon off-gasser. This is the one you need to hear. Your non-stick pan is a chemistry experiment. If you heat a Teflon-coated pan above 500 degrees, which takes about 2 minutes on a high flame, it undergoes pyrolysis. It releases a cocktail of fluorinated gases. In humans, this causes Teflon flu, fever, chills, and headaches. But for pet birds, it's instant death. Their respiratory systems are so sensitive that the fumes from a single overheated pan in the kitchen can kill a canary in the living room. If it does that to a bird, what do you think those forever chemicals are doing to your long-term health? Moving to number 3, the gas stove, the indoor smog generator. We love the flame. We love the control. But recent science has revealed a dark secret about the gas stove. Burning gas indoors releases nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and benzene. If you don't have a high-powered vent hood that actually exhausts outside, you are basically running a car engine in your kitchen. Studies now show that children in homes with gas stoves have a 42% increased risk of asthma. We've been living with a smog machine in our kitchens for a century and calling it gourmet. Number 2, the Death Trap blender, old school. Modern blenders have locking lids and sensors. Old blenders? They were basically willpower tests. Vintage blenders often had glass jars that could shatter under the thermal shock of hot soup. But the real danger was the open blade design. If the jar wasn't seated perfectly, the metal drive coupling could shear off, sending metal shards into your smoothie. Some of the most powerful vintage blenders didn't have pulse buttons, they just had on. If you dropped a spoon in there, you weren't just losing a spoon, you were dodging shrapnel. And the winner is number 1, the Mandoline slicer, the kitchen predator. Here it is, the most dangerous thing in your house. It doesn't use radiation, gas, or fire. It just uses gravity and your own overconfidence. The Mandoline is a razor blade mounted on a plastic board. It's designed to slice vegetables paper thin. But here's the thing. It is hungry. It does not stop at the potato. Because the blade is so sharp, you often don't even feel the cut until you see the blood. ER doctors hate these things. Why? Because a knife cut is a line that can be stitched. A Mandoline cut is a subtraction. It removes a slice of your fingertip. There is nothing to sew back on. If you own one of these and you aren't using a cut-resistant Kevlar glove, you aren't cooking, you're gambling with your extremities. Will you survive dinner? From Victorian lead plates to the finger-taking Mandoline, the history of cooking is a literal minefield. We've spent 200 years trying to make dinner faster, only to realize we were making it deadlier. Check your cupboards. If you've got a scratched non-stick pan, a gas stove with no vent, or a Mandoline you're too cool to use a guard with, fix it today. Did I miss one? Is there a gadget in your kitchen that terrifies you? Drop it in the comments below and tell me, are you team gas or team electric? Because after what we just learned about benzene, I'm thinking about cooking everything over a campfire. Stay safe, stay hungry, and for the love of everything, watch your fingers.